Hey guys, welcome back to another book video. This week we have the next Hobbit Chronicles book, Cloaks and Daggers. So I'll just show you this a little bit so you can see the gold leaf or whatever it's called on the front. Doesn't show up as well on camera, but it looks pretty cool in person. Quick look at the back of the book. And let's get straight into it. Let's see if I can actually fit this in shot. Okay, so we've just about got that in shot there. It is a very difficult book to fit in a shot like this just because it is so wide. And those of you who have been watching my previous videos will know already. We've already recorded a quick preview of these few. And we've got this one and a few more to come. And if you want to pause the video there, that is the contents page. So moving on. This is the fourth book, I believe, in the series. I'm sure this is the fourth one I've recorded so far. I could be losing count. So there is 6 books in this series for the Hobbit movies. I believe it's intended to be 2 books for each movie. So obviously we've done book 1, 2, 3 and this is number 4. So we've done the first movie and this one also is based on the second movie. Although that being said, I believe the way this one works is a little bit different. I think this one actually covers more up to the second movie. So not just the second movie, but also includes the first one. And I mentioned in a previous video that I was quite excited to show this one. Now, it's been a really long time since I've actually looked through it. But I do always remember thinking that this one was one of my favourites. I'm not entirely sure why it was, but I just remember thinking it was really cool. I have a feeling that it was something to do with the elven work in here. I was going to say elven artwork, but this book doesn't actually include too much in terms of sketches. It's more about, well, as you can see, it's more costume work from memory. We will find out as we go through it. But I do like specifically a lot of the elven designs, and I think this is the first one that had a lot of them in. And the way it works, for those of you who do not know, it is one of the books for each of the movies seems to be like a sketchbook and the artwork, concept design work, whereas the other one seems to be more about props, or in this case, you know, weapons and costumes. And the first thing that I would notice about this book personally is that it could actually be really handy if you are someone who's learning, well, costume design, I guess, especially for something that's, you know, similar genre. So it actually reminds me a little bit of the Game of Thrones book as well. There's a costume book for that, and that is an absolutely massive book. I will put a link again in the description box below for that, because that is quite an interesting book. But a few of you will know I'm massive on Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, so this one is a little bit more relevant to me, as much as I did enjoy Game of Thrones as well. So judging from this, it looks like we've got probably each dwarf's costumes. I actually thought that I'd shown that in one of the other books, but that must be me getting confused, unless it just shows some in this and some in others. But it's always pretty cool. I plan on using this for my actual art studies to learn about, well, again, costumes, but not so much. I'm not a costume designer, but as a character artist, you know, it's quite important to know materials and what to dress them in, I guess. Obviously, I am not reading this on camera to go quite into as much detail about what it is. I'm just doing this as a bit of a preview video for those of you that are interested. And at the time of making all these videos, I own 5 of the 6 books, but I did actually order number 6 last night, so hopefully I can make that video too. And something you'll notice, this one seems absolutely chocked full with weapon design. That's really cool, and the images are actually a decent size. To say how many they've fit in, they're quite detailed, so again, as an artist, personally I think that's quite good to sort of study from. And I guess that actually goes for even if you're not a huge fan of the Hobbit movies or the Lord of the Rings. I'm sure you could still find value in this. Obviously, as an art channel, that's kind of what I'm looking for, but I do have a passion for the Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings. But I do think the stuff in here looks like it's really good. Especially this kind of sort of fantasy armour. I do think that's really cool. I actually had a go sketching this not long ago. So for those of you that are interested in seeing that, definitely take a look on my Instagram page. I think that's where I posted it. or any other social media. Not to put a bit of a shameless plug in there for me. So the video I recorded last week ended up nearly 10 minutes long, and I can see this one's already going that way, so I'm going to try and skip a few pages at a time. I get a little bit carried away with these books and end up showing more pages than I probably should. I am noticing so far there's been some really cool armour, but a lot of it and the weapons has been dwarven stuff, and I was under the impression there was a lot more elven work in this one. There we go. Coincidentally, we are just about there. So the elven armour is really cool in my eyes, and I'm sure that a lot of you will agree. So you've got the weapons again there. I would be interested in hearing in the comments below if you're someone who actually is studying costume design or textiles or whatever it would be called, to know whether there is much value in a book like this for you. I know that for me, the sketchbooks are quite inspiring, so maybe it's the same for people that make costumes, textiles. So there's a little bit on the enemies or the orcs and stuff, so that's pretty cool as well. In fact, there's quite a lot of weapons, and I just think this is really cool if you are a fan of the movie, because you probably wouldn't notice all these things. You know, just from watching the movie, you probably wouldn't quite pick up on all these subtle differences in the weapon. It's probably just not something you would look for. So as mentioned earlier, this one doesn't actually have many, or maybe it doesn't have any sketches in it that I've noticed. So if you are purely an artist that just likes looking at sketches, first of all, I do have loads of videos like that, even a few that are Lord of the Rings related, so I'll put them all in the comments below, such as John Howe's and Alan Lee's sketchbook. That's for The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. But aside from that, I was going to say the other 3 books in the series would probably be ideal for you. And you might have noticed there, I know I was babbling on, but there were some really cool sort of closer looks at the armours for the elves. Of course, we've got Legolas. I mentioned in last week's book video about some people I know are not happy the way the elves are portrayed and the fact that Legolas is actually in the movies compared to the books. But, you know, whether that's right or wrong, personally I really enjoyed it, and I think the character works really well in it. Again, I'm going to try and start skipping through some pages a little bit quicker, because I can see on my camera that this video has gone on for way too long already. I think I've previewed more than enough pages for you guys. I'm going to speed up a little bit. I will try my best on the next video to actually do it a little bit quicker, maybe skip pages a little bit more. And so far in each of the books, there has been like a fold-out spread in the back of the book. So we shall take a look at that. We're nearly there. Wow, I mean, this just shows how full of content the book is, even while I'm trying to do it fast and skip through several pages at once. Right, okay, so I guess this is the equivalent of the fold-out in this one. It actually starts from this page. Let me see if I can fit this in shot. Pretty cool. It's a nice photo. And from this side, it's quite a long one, just to make it more difficult to show on camera. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. In the next one that I record, we're going to be looking at this one. This is one that goes back to the sort of sketches and artwork, and that's for the 3rd movie. Really like this one. But that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it useful if you're looking at purchasing the book. If you did, make sure you leave me a comment below, let me know what you think, hit that thumbs up button, and of course make sure you subscribe and turn notifications on for future content. Thanks for watching, everyone.